This is an NBC News special report. Here's Laura Jarrett.
Good morning. We are coming on the air with breaking news from the U.S. Supreme Court, a decision on the fate of a law that restricts access to hormone therapy and other health care for minors going through a gender transition. The High Court just now allowing a Tennessee law that bars such gender-affirming care to stand. This is the very first time the court has directly considered a law like this restricting this type of health care, and now could pave the way for other laws in other states impacting this type of transition-related care for minors. The court here split between the conservatives and the liberals, 6-3. The court issuing a lengthy opinion with lengthy dissents still being read from the bench there. I want to bring in now NBC News legal analyst Danny Savalas to help me break this decision now. Danny, we've been pouring through it. It's lengthy. There's a lot going on here. But fundamentally, the issue was whether, in fact, this law that was passed by Tennessee is sex discrimination. Does it violate the Equal Protection Clause of the Constitution to try to ban this transition-related care? And the court saying no.
Exactly right. The core question in cases like these is what level of scrutiny applies? What does the court look at in deciding whether or not to strike down this statute and declare it unconstitutional or allow it to survive? That's why there's so much discussion of scrutiny. And the key is, in equal protection challenges, the key is what is the classification? Does the statute classify based on transgender status, or instead does it classify based on medical diagnosis and procedures that are requested? And so in this case, the court concluded that what the law does is it doesn't discriminate based on transgender status. Instead, it removes a certain set of diagnoses from the large list of treatable conditions and procedures.
Therapy,
exactly.
Puberty blockers.
Right. And the diagnoses that are removed happen to be all diagnoses that relate to transgender persons. But the court says that is still not enough of a distinction to be the invidious, and that's the magic word, the invidious kind of discrimination that would be unconstitutional based on transgender status.
And the Chief Justice says it this way. Basically, this needs to be up to the legislature. This case carries with it the weight of fierce scientific and policy debates about the safety, efficacy, and propriety of medical treatments in an evolving field. The voices in these debates raise sincere questions. The implications for all are profound. The Equal Protection Clause does not resolve these disagreements. So essentially, look, there are medical experts that say this type of gender transition care is dangerous for minors. There are medical experts say this type of care is essential for minors and it helps prevent suicide. We don't get to decide those types of policy debates. They should be left up to the states. That's what the court is saying.
Exactly right. And Justice Roberts goes to great pains to say it's not the court's role to say whether or not a state statute is a good idea. Instead, he says specifically, states have wide discretion in the area of scientific and medical uncertainty. This is the area that the states are supposed to legislate with the least interference from the federal courts like us.
Talk to me about the policy implications here for other states. As we mentioned, Tennessee not alone here. Some 20 other states have passed laws similar to this. The High Court isn't saying that hormone therapy and puberty blockers are off limits in the state of New York, but they are saying in the states that want to pass those types of bans, you can do it.
Exactly. And another key that states will be watching who are interested in this kind of legislation is the fact that the statute didn't ban all such therapy. I mean, a major distinction was that it distinguished between minors and adults. So adults are still able to get some things that minors cannot. And it's possible that some minors can still get this kind of treatment, but maybe for other diagnoses. So this case will be, for states who are considering similar legislation, really a guidebook for how to pass legislation that will survive constitutional scrutiny.
If you put it in the larger context, what it seems is the conservative majority is sort of following the line that they did in the Dobbs decision. Sort of the post-Roe era is the states get to do what they want. If they want to pass bans, if they want to keep things just as they are, they're able to do it. But we as the court are not going to be the final arbiters of that. The states are going to be the final arbiters of rights that the court thinks, at least the conservative court Court thinks are not enshrined in the Constitution, one of them being the right to hormone therapy as a minor.
Right. And again, the court goes to some considerable length to emphasize that their role isn't to decide whether or not a statute is just generally proper or a good idea. Instead, the key, they are very limited in what they can decide about a statute. And when you have an equal protection challenge, that means that the law makes classifications based on a protected class. And if the distinctions are not based on a protected class, a non-protected class, like, for example, medical diagnoses, then the state has a lot of discretion, and the court really, really emphasized that.
Well, it's a significant decision. Appreciate you being here to help me break it down with some 100-plus pages. Still a dozen cases left to go here in the rest of the term here. That concludes this NBC News special report. I'm Laura Jarrett. We return most of you to the Today Show now.